Welcome to the Small Business Show. My name is Swire from Garuda Promo. Today we have Laura Ellis, professional organizer from Organized by Ellis. How are you doing, Laura?
I'm excellent. Excellent. How are you?
Good, good. Just want to ask you a quick question. Does this background pass your test?
Yes, looks good.
I spent 30 minutes today because I know that I'm going to have you on. So question for you. I know from your website, from your LinkedIn post recently, I pulled up, you mentioned that an organized office is the key to success. Why is that?
Well, because you have to be able to find things, right? There's nothing worse when you're in an office and your superior or your team needs you to get something to them and you can't find it. I mean, that doesn't look professional. And your workspace, there have been studies to show how your workspace reflects on your impressions, how people perceive you in your office, and that you are more likely to even get promotions if you have
Really?
if you have a clean workspace, because people perceive your space and you together, and that you're in control of it. So they think, oh, I know that I'm going to be able to give that to Swire because he's got it all under control and he can handle whatever I give him. And all of that is reflected in his space.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I've been to a lot of online meetings. I'm sure you are. That normally people I dealt with, they dress really professionally. Sometimes, and then the image have changed a lot, and they don't put on suits and tie. They don't have the power suit coat going on. Some of them even come out with T-shirts and the space. I don't know where they're sitting, but then it doesn't look as professional as like you're an organizer, so everything looks clean and organized. Like people do perceive an image, an image that you try to be, a business, a professional. So that's why I want to reach out to you. I agree to your statement 100%.
Yeah, I mean, right now, all we have is this little teeny window, right? This is all you can see about me. So now you're in my home. Clients don't normally see into my home, and I am doing virtual organizing. So I have these moments where they can see what my space looks like. If this is a mess, are you going to hire me to organize your house? No, it doesn't inspire confidence for me
Right.
to have a cluttered space. So I happen to be lucky because my home is, I walk the walk, I walk the talk, right? So I don't have to work so hard at it, but it is worth spending a little time to make sure that the background of your Zoom and your video chats are neat and tidy. It says a lot about you, from what you're wearing to your background, and also something to really consider that people often miss are the reflections. So I'm sitting in front of a, you see there's a mirror there, right?
Right.
Oh, the other way, that way.
Right. Yes.
Now, if I had a bunch of stuff on the stairs, you could see that.
Yeah.
So it's not just what's behind me, and the door behind me is reflective, and there might be other things that are going to show what's in the background. So you have to consider all of those things around you too when you're creating your Zoom world. It's just so important. And I know I had a Zoom meeting the other day. I'm on the board of directors of an organization, and I was kind of shocked. I mean, one of the board members, this is like a respected position, and he had a cut off tank top on, like with scissors, and his dining room table was covered in papers. And then his camera, and this is another thing people have to watch out for, is the camera angles, right? So if you're going to get up, make sure that
you're wearing pants.
Covered.
Well, I'm a bad person like that. Sometimes I see examples like that. I click on them and then they zoom out, and I looked at what is he wearing. Like, I'm a bad person.
Curious, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been seeing, I don't know if you notice this too, like when you watch the morning shows, because everybody is doing what do you call it, the segments at home or from their house. And I always I'm like, oh, what do they have in the background?
Yeah, what do they have? Like, yeah.
Yeah, what's going on back there? I noticed that Hoda, I don't know if you watch the Today Show, but she's always sitting in front of her closet and the door's open. It's like, just close the closet door. It's so easy to do. It's just a funny thing that people don't think of.
Okay. What about for a lot of us? We used to have an office. We work at a building, our corporate headquarters, but now a lot of us are working from home, so we don't have a home office setup. Like, how would you advise people to set up their nice space? And some of us are living in a smaller home, so we might not even have a space for working. What would you suggest?
Yes, well, I am living this exact situation right now because I have an office downstairs, but my husband is now working from home too, and we do not have a big house. It's actually a pretty small house, so it's really, really important. The smaller your space is, the more you're going to feel the clutter, right?
Mm.
So he has taken over the office space downstairs, which is fine because he's really got more of his day-to-day proceedings are more usual. You know what I'm saying? I have a little bit more flexibility. So what I did was up here, I'm up in my living room. Our house is upside down. Our bedrooms are downstairs. I have a folding table and I have my like portable workstation. So this is my area. It is a designated workspace. I highly recommend that everybody create a designated workspace. And I clean it up at night. So I'm going to show you this. I have a basket that's like right? Oh, I left it, but it's new. You can see that. But it has all my things that are for my desk and my office. So if I have my laptop bag, I have my little Post-it notes and pen, anything that I need to function during the day and on my desk, I keep it in this basket. At the end of the day, it takes me 5 minutes tops and clean off the table, and then the table becomes something else. Either we use it, we eat at it, or it becomes a side table. Or if I wanted to, I could just fold it up. It really takes so little time, and it's really important to have a designated space and also to do a 10-minute tidy at the end of the day. Return your desk space to a neat and orderly fashion. It's going to make a huge difference because if everyone's looking at papers and clutter, it's very disruptive to your thinking.
Yeah, normally a really casual person, I don't care about things a lot the way that they are. But for work, I have to put certain things, my cup, my pen, at a certain place. So like you said, at the end of the day, I have to put my notebook this way. I have to put my pen this way. And sometimes my kids right now, they're from home. They're studying from home, so they mess around with my stuff. I always put them back the same place because you can find it. A lot of time when you work from home, you can't find all the paperwork that's supposed to be in cabinet. It's all in the kitchen table, or when you do your laptop, you can't find your laptop because I don't know where you walk it. But I always put it at the end of the day, same spot before I turn off the lights.
It's so important, especially if you have little hands around, because they like to carry things around the house. And if you know that you always put your notebook or that file or your laptop in that spot, then somebody else took it, right? So it's an easy thing to go, I know that I always put that there. So who has it? Who moved it around,
Yeah.
And it just really becomes important for everybody's sanity.
Yeah, I know that not only you organize the physical space, and you also have tips for organizing your virtual space. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. This is a great time right now for people to take on some organizing projects that maybe they wouldn't ordinarily do. And I know that email is a huge problem for people. Our inboxes are just inundated all the time. And I have a feeling that that's even more true now because we have no other way of communicating other than phone, video, or email. So I definitely recommend unsubscribing to anything that is not necessary. You're not going to miss a sale. It's not going to be a big, the world's not going to fall apart if you don't have that one particular email that's like an offer. If it's not something you need, like absolutely need, or that is useful in your everyday functioning at your job, unsubscribe. If that is too big of a task, I love to use unroll.me. It's an app, and what it does is it rolls up all of your emails that you don't want to see in your inbox, and it takes them out of the inbox. It's life-changing, honestly. It's an amazing, amazing app. I highly recommend that.
I remember from one of your presentation about 2 years ago, and I looked it up, and I am surprised to find out that with Unroll Me, I have 300 subscription of various things that I am interested. Didn't know that, and 80% of that I never really react to anything. So it's very easy for me to unsubscribe with the tools.
Yeah, it is. It's, and I mean, sometimes we don't want to unsubscribe. Like maybe you have a friend that sends a newsletter and you don't want to show them that you don't want to read it, but maybe you don't want to look at it all the time. It's a kind of a good way of getting those things that you might want to just get out of your inbox. Just get everything that you don't need so that what comes to you every day are only useful things to your day-to-day activities. That's what you want to do.
I have a question for myself. I'm in the promotional product business, so I get a lot of catalogs, a lot of paper from my suppliers. They send me news item. They send me the updated promotions. So I always have a lot of boxes coming in, and I've been trying to tidy that. They're all over here in the room. You just can't see them. So what would you suggest? Like right now, working from home, we have less space and to deal with all the paper, all the clutters that I might have.
Well, that you specifically have. So if you have catalogs, do you put them all on the shelf? Do you have one place for them?
Sometimes I'll be reading them and you see them around the house everywhere. But I do try to keep them in one place if possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you said that you're really good at tidying up your desk, right? Things go in certain places, your cup and your laptop and everything like that. Maybe add in another step and collect your catalogs and just put them back on the shelf. Because if they're all over the place, so that when you get a new one, you take the old one out and you replace it with the new one. And then they're all in one particular place. Something that is really helpful for people is to look at your space a little differently right now. There may have been things in your office that you don't necessarily need, but they're just kind of like nice to have items, but they're not a necessity. It might be a good time to move those items to another location and use the space in your office, that valuable real estate, use it for things that you're actually accessing every day. So that, I don't know, maybe if I'm trying to look behind you. Are those CDs?
They're right here. I've never listened to the CDs, but it just looks nice.
It does look nice. But that's a perfect example. So if you don't ever listen to them, maybe this is a moment in time you could box them up and use that space for something else. Do you know?
Okay.
It's kind of like rethinking the valuable real estate in your space. What do you really need to access every day? And is that the best thing to have on it? Those are two good questions to ask yourself.
So for a small business owner, like for tax purpose, we're required to save all the receipts. Like sometimes I get a lot of receipts. Like, do you have any good ways to deal with them?
Oh yeah, I use an accordion file. First of all, are you electronic? Like, do you scan your receipts at all? Do you do that?
Sometimes I do try to have vendors send us electronic receipts and invoices, but sometimes when I go to a retail location, they do give you a physical receipts that we would save, and we accumulate sometimes a lot of receipts. So wondering if you have a good way to deal with them.
Yes, definitely. The first thing you have to do is have one space for them. So all paper receipts go in this either folder or paper sorter or whatever that designated box, whatever it is, goes in there. And then they must get processed, right? You have an accounting system, so those receipts are going to go into your business expenses. So if you're scanning them, like I do, I scan them and then I stamp it that it was scanned, and then they can go into a file for backup. But I don't really need the paper anymore because I have it in my bookkeeping system. I have it in my QuickBooks. So I file them in the accordion file, set the accordion file up the way the tax categories are set up so that they match. So you don't have to think about it. So it's like, your auto, your advertising, your medical, whatever those expenses are that match the tax categories, and then you file all of those receipts in there. For you and many business owners, you may have different categories for your receipts. Some of them are going to be for office expenses. Some of them are going to be for clients. Some of them are going to be just like personal things or whatever they're related to your business. So you can make subcategories within the accordion file to group them together. If you take an hour and get it all caught up, I mean, we're not even halfway through the year. So you could get caught up for this year. And then once a week, process your receipts. You'll be good to go.
That's what we try to do. And bookkeeper and CPA must love this segment just now because if we all file it nicely for them, and then when it takes time, send them an electronic file with all your file, then easier, and it saves you money too. Then send them a box of receipt. It's time that you are spending right now, 5-10 minutes max for most people. Then if you do it for the year, and accountants and bookkeepers charge you way more than if you do it on your own.
Totally. And if you stay on top of it, it is a very short task. It does not take a lot of time. And it really is a huge time saver. I mean, you use a software to do your accounting. Like if you used QuickBooks or something, actually your bookkeeper and your accountant can just get right in there. You don't even have to send them paper at all.
Okay. Well, last question I have, with all the going on right now, obviously a lot of us are stressed. We are changing an environment, or we have kids running around by walking anytime through that door. How would you suggest that we all tie in together and, better organize ourselves and our workspace?
It's really about being a little kind to yourself, being flexible. Things are not going to be perfect. This time is different. It's unprecedented in history. So choose your battles, right? The things that may have bothered us before all of this happened, maybe we can let some of those things go. Really focus on what's going to make a big difference in your day. Making sure that you have what you need, that you can find what you can find when you need it, right? And you can access it, and then you put it away. The other thing is really communicating with your family. So making sure that they understand. Every morning, my husband and I, we'll have our coffee and we talk, and I'll say, okay, so when are your Zoom meetings? So I know I have to be quiet. I'm not going to go knocking on the door. I'm not going to disrupt. And then I even do things like making sure that I'm not using things that pull on the Wi-Fi. I'm not going to be like updating my Dropbox when he's on Zoom, right? So having a little bit of communication. When are the kids in school? What are they going to have to do? What are the projects? What is your wife going to do? And just really being clear about that and making a plan for the day about who's working when dad can be interrupted, when they can't be. Set a little bit of a schedule, incorporating flexibility, right? So you have those solid things on the schedule that don't move, and then realize that life is going to happen in there and go with it.
Thank you so much, Laura. You gave us a lot of good tips, and I'll definitely show my kids this video so they know not when to watch in, when Daddy's working.
Yeah, that's a good one. Say I talked to an organizer today, and this is what she said.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Laura. I hope to have you again on the show too.
Yeah, thanks, Wire. Love to.
Take care.
Okay.